In most countries, political candidates hope for the endorsement of a newspaper or two, perhaps a media mogul. But in Senegal, if last month's election was anything to go by, rappers seem to be the influencers to get on side. The incumbent, President Macky Sall, had the group Biddo Bou Bes. For former Prime Minister Idrissa Seck, it was Daddy Bibson. Meanwhile, another candidate, Ousmane Sonko, had 4 MCs backing him.
I think the reason why rappers have played such a central role in Senegalese politics is partly because the country is extraordinarily young. Many young people turn to hip-hop artists as being kind of the voice of the streets and providing them a way to think about politics. Especially in the most recent presidential election, the use of rappers was a remarkably cynical attempt by these politicians to gain popularity with youth. You saw all of the major Senegalese presidential candidates trying to find endorsements from rappers. This was, very much an attempt to try to neutralize the impact of Kurgi.
The rap duo Kurgi is one of Senegal's most political and most popular groups. Kurgi doesn't endorse specific candidates out of principle, but its anti-government anthem, Sai Sai Au Coeur, was the biggest hit of the campaign. Sai Sai means trickster in Wolof, Senegal's main language, an insult aimed squarely at President Macky Sall, and one he didn't take kindly to. Sall's response spoke to the impact that hip-hop, and Kurgi in particular, can have on young voters. Back in 2011, the rappers helped found the social movement Y'en a marre, French for we've had enough. And the following year, when Macky Sall was in opposition trying to get elected, the movement was credited with tipping the vote his way.
Y'en a marre, avec d'autres jeunes rappeurs.
Y'en a marre, along with other young rappers, played a pivotal role in the fight against the former president, Abdoulaye Wade. Wade had wanted to change the constitution, but Y'en a marre mobilized citizens and even politicians and helped get the bill defeated. Then, in the presidential election in 2012, their opposition to Wade had a major impact on the result and the transfer of power to Macky Sall. It was nothing short of a political revolution.
C'était carrément une grosse révolution politique.
Macky Sall connaît la puissance du hip-hop.
Macky Sall is well aware of the power hip-hop has in Senegal. Before 2012, we were just protesting rappers who focused on political and social issues. But that year, we felt a sense of urgency and we took the Y'en a marre movement to the streets. The former president had banned protest marches, so we launched what we called urban guerrilla poetry. Buses going around the country to get people to register to vote. We wrote raps like, if you're 18 years old, go get registered. During the campaign, Macky Sall came to meet us. He said, I'll limit my term to 5 years, my family won't be involved in public affairs, I'll do this, I'll do that. But it turned out to be nothing but lies. Someone like that doesn't deserve another mandate.
This time around, the Y'en a marre rappers were not able to repeat the success they had had 5 years earlier in unseating the president. Macky Sall was re-elected. Nonetheless, hip-hop seems to have secured a place at the political table.
Senegal itself is quite distinctive within the West African sub-region. Senegal has always been known as a society that is very supportive of the arts. Leopold Senghor, the first Senegalese president himself, was a poet, an intellectual who devoted tremendous amounts of resources to developing the culture in Senegal. Collectively, a lot of money was put into the arts.
In the US, rappers who talk about sex, drugs, make millions. But here, if you don't talk about the issues that are relevant to people, you won't be respected. Artists take their responsibilities seriously, and we write politically conscious lyrics. It's important to remember that hip-hop is meant to be a tool for raising awareness, a tool of social transformation.
Est un outil de transformation sociale.
Bienvenue, installez-vous, on a des nouvelles pour vous. Il y a de bonnes, il y a de mauvaises, mais il y a des nouvelles pour vous.
The power of hip-hop as a gateway to Senegal's youth goes beyond politics. Journal Rappé is a newscast wrapped to a beat. Its founders, Human and Katie, rhyme their take on the news in French
Un seul appareil de radiothérapie pour tous les 14 millions d'habitants de ce pays.
and Wolof. They even host debates.
Sceptique, es-tu pour que le Sénégal envoie 2100 de nos militaires? Dis-moi, non, je suis pas d'accord.
Journal Rappé started life on YouTube, but its success in attracting Senegal's digital natives soon caught the attention of mainstream media.
When it comes to talking about social issues, rap is the most powerful medium because it gets to the biggest audience. Journal Rappé started on YouTube and then Channel 2S TV also broadcast it. Its journalists were reticent to begin with because they thought that we were messing with the news, but they quickly understood that we were not trying to take their place. On the contrary, we are trying to help them with their work.
Traditional media, like television and radio, have had to adapt and catch up with changing times. It's no longer like before when we had a monopoly on the news. The rise of social media meant we had to update our output. Journal Rappé is a way of simplifying political news and making it accessible to citizens who might not want to watch news broadcasts. They do not report the news, they do not produce information. They take news already pre-processed by television channels to present it to citizens with a taste of music. And it's lovely. It's quite an artistic creation.
The social media boom underway in Africa, driven by young populations and cheap Chinese smartphones, has enabled Journal Rappé to go international. Backed by the NGO, the Open Society Initiative for West Africa, its rappers have kick-started similar projects across the region. In Mali, Mauritania, Guinea, the Ivory Coast, Togo, and Burkina Faso. And Journal Rappé is not alone in taking conscious rap beyond Senegal's borders. Kyrgyz have also started something of a butterfly effect, with more traditional means and more radical ends.
Y'en a marre has inspired people in many African countries. For example, we went to Burkina Faso and together with rappers and civil society activists there, we created the Ballet Citoyen movement, which helped overthrow the president in 2014. We went to the Republic of Congo, to Equatorial Guinea, to Mali, to Gambia, Madagascar, to meet young activists and musicians from various movements. And last year, we hosted the gathering with all of them here in Dakar. We think hip-hop can serve as an agent of change in Africa, in developing the youth of the future.
The influence of Senegalese rappers in West Africa and beyond has been pretty extraordinary. One of the most interesting political phenomena I've seen. They were actually able to foment popular movements in multiple West African countries. So hip-hop artists have really sort of recognized that they can play this role in mobilizing the youth, and it is a tremendous credit to the activism of Senegalese rappers in particular.
It's a kind of activism that will have some West African leaders shifting nervously. But back in Senegal, the political elite seem to have embraced the power of hip-hop, in the hope that they can call the tune.